Yo, what's happening, everybody? Welcome to the Moment with Moesghetii podcast, your space for mental health and spiritual wellness. I am your hostesses with the mostesses, your auntie, sister, cousin, best friend, always coming with the realness, Moesghetii herself. Welcome, everybody. I almost hit. I almost hit one of them buttons that I was hitting earlier.
Oh
And then
no,
we
don't do it.
specifically identified that it was not appropriate for the show today. So as you can see, Moesghetii is not by herself today. I am not by myself today. I have two lovely ladies here with me, and we're gonna talk all about autism awareness today. We're gonna talk all about how to take care of yourself while you are taking care of a loved one with autism. And so I will let these ladies introduce themselves in just a moment. But before we hop into that, if you're a regular on my show, you already know how we get started. I get started with the church announcements. If you are not a regular on my show, hello, welcome, because y'all's peoples be sharing. Period. And I love that. So we'll get into the church announcements and then we'll hop into the meat of the show. And I will try to be really quick with the church announcements because I don't want them just sitting here staring at me while we do that. So, first and foremost, I want to say I've been slacking and I'm finally getting my life together. We do have a Moment with Moesghetii podcast Facebook page. So if you have been watching just straight directly from Moesghetie's Facebook Live, I appreciate you. But feel free to like, comment, share, and navigate on over to the official Moment with Moesghetii Facebook page so that you can stay on top of all of the happenings, any announcements, any special episodes that we have going on, and any resources and things like that that we want to share in between. Let's build some community, let's collaborate, and now you guys have a landing space to do that. So again, it's Moment with Moesghetii podcast. Follow, like, comment, share, and let's get the community rolling. The next church announcement I have for you, and this will be the second one and the last one, but it's real important. Moesghetie's birthday spectacular variety show is coming up, ladies and gentlemen, Friday, May 3rd. Come party with me. Come kick it at me. We'll be at Paradise Social Lounge. It is on Dr. King Avenue. We're going to have a good time. If you were at my Christmas spectacular variety show, you already know that I like to put on a show. I'm a little bit extra and a lot of bit fun. So that pales in comparison to what I got planned for my birthday. So we're gonna have a good time. Showtime will be 8 o'clock. Doors open at $7, $10 for advance tickets, 15 at the door. You got about a month to get your ticket, but get them now. Get them now. So I know that y'all coming. All right. I gotta know that y'all coming so I can plan for all of y'all to come. And I'm gonna have a show regardless of whether or not y'all come. I know y'all coming though. I know y'all coming.
Oh yeah,
Y'all coming.
I say today.
All right. May 3rd, Friday night, Moesghetie's birthday spectacular variety show. I can't wait. The information is all up on my page. You can follow it, find it in the Facebook events. You can find it on the Eventbrite. You can have cash at me or buy your tickets on Eventbrite. All right. All right. So we're going to get on. We're going to get on with this very special episode of the Moment with Moesghetii podcast. I have these two wonderful women here next to me that I'm excited about sharing our time, having a conversation with. So I'm going to go ahead and allow you ladies to introduce yourselves. You can introduce yourself and I guess your children real quick, and we can go from there. So, Pornisha, you closest to me.
Okay. All right. So I am Pornisha, or I am 41. Period. It's okay.
Period.
I'm in my 40s. It's
Grown.
all right. It's all right. Don't worry about it. It's all right. No, but I'm 41. I'm here today to represent my son. My son, his name is Nico Kaz, or we call him Kaz. That's his middle name. Because we call his dad his name. So they have the same name. So we go by his middle name. And Kaz is 7 years old. My son is nonverbal. But he real. Listen, if my son could talk, of course, autism does not have a look. But if my son could talk, you wouldn't know he probably had autism. That boy is street smart as a fool. He got mad survival skills, fight or flight. My son he the bomb. He don't play. He get what he want. He gonna get what he want at all times. He gonna make sure of it. But overall, my son is a sweet, sweet, sweet kid. I love him to death. I don't know what life would be without him. Of course, autism can be challenging at times, but he definitely has made me realize what my purpose in life is. So yes, that is me and my son. His name is Kaz, and he's 7.
All right.
My name is Shanee Morgan. I'm 44, so I'm in the 40 club
Period.
with your girl.
40s.
Black don't crack, baby.
Okay.
My son is Elijah Carpenter. He's 18 years old. Elijah, he is verbal, very smart, very independent, and it came from a lot of stuff that I had to do to get him to where he is now. Everybody loves him. He's a lovable boy. He loves giving out hugs to people, and he's just funny. He's very outspoken. He gonna let you know how you feel. Okay,
Sweet.
out the gate, he gonna let you know. But yeah, and that's my bub. We call him Bub.
That's
Aw.
Bub. Aw.
That's cute.
Okay.
I like that
Well,
new
thank you, Pornisha, and thank you, Shanee, for joining me today. We got Moesghetii in the chat. Moesghetii in the chat. So, if for those of you who do not know, I actually am part of an autism family myself. So, I have a brother. His name is Julius. I call him Deuce, and he is 23 years old, and he has autism. So, he's my brother, but really, I call him my oldest child because I'm the oldest. I'm the oldest kid in the family. But when he came along, I was like, thank you.
Right.
This is my baby
Said,
now.
I'll raise him now. Thanks, Mom.
Thanks for birthing him. I'll take it over from here. But I also have a nephew, Bobby Lamar Ferguson the third, who has autism. He's 5 years old.
Okay.
And so this is a subject that is near and dear to me because it has touched my life more than one time. My nephew, obviously, as a nephew, he's not in my house, but my little brother, like I said, that's like my oldest child. So I've had somewhat of an experience, not quite like yours because I'm not the mama, but I definitely had my moments of having to be involved in the primary caretaking because, as you know, autistic children are a lot. You tag team with anybody who can help.
That you can trust.
Yeah, so we have Moesghetii in the chat who is an autism mom just like you guys. And so this subject is very near and dear to me, and I wanted to take some time to bring some light to autism, but not just to autism itself, because we do, as time goes on, we are getting better at educating about autism. We're getting better about highlighting it, but one thing I don't feel like we highlight enough is what it takes to be a caretaker of someone with autism. And so I brought these ladies on today because I wanted to talk about their experiences, but I also wanted to really highlight some of what is necessary for us, those who love those who have autism, and what we need to do in order to make sure that we are our best selves while we care for these people, because it is really a lifelong task.
Absolutely.
So before we jump into, I just wanted to talk a little bit about what autism is. So I took some of this information from the CDC website, and it says that autism spectrum disorder is a developmental disorder caused by differences in the brain. People with ASD, autism spectrum disorder, may behave, communicate, and interact and learn things in ways that are different from most other people. There's often nothing about how they look that sets them apart from other people, but the abilities of people with ASD can vary significantly. For example, some people with ASD may have advanced conversation skills, while others may be nonverbal. Some people with ASD need a lot of help in their daily lives, and others can work and live with little to no support. And so ASD really begins before the age of 3, but can last throughout the person's lifetime, although the symptoms may improve over time. And so some of the statistics I grabbed was they believe about 1 in 36 children have been identified to have ASD, which is a lot.
Listen,
that is a lot.
Significantly increased over the years.
Yeah. And then also autism spectrum disorder is reported to occur in all racial, ethnic, and socioeconomic groups.
Mhm.
And so it is a thing that, is it touches people no matter what you look like, no matter where you come from, and no matter how much money you got in your pocket, it
Absolutely.
can touch you and it can be a part of your life for your entire life. So I brought the and then it's a spectrum. And so, as Pornisha mentioned, you said your son is nonverbal.
Correct.
He's 7 though, so he's still young. So
Yeah,
is
we
it?
still hoping and praying.
So we still hoping and praying
Hope
that
has not been lost.
right. And then you said Elijah is 18,
Yes.
and he is verbal.
Yes.
Mhm.
And so for my family, Bobby is 5, so he's not really quite verbal, but he has his ways of communicating. Julius, my brother, is 23. He's pretty verbal, and I believe at 7, I don't think he really was.
Okay.
And so it can. The experience with the autistic person can vary from person to person, but even within that same person across their lifetime.
Mhm.
And so I brought these ladies here today. I don't want to take up too much time on the mic. I want to give y'all an opportunity to really talk about it. And I guess I want to start with hearing about what was your experience as you are observing that your child is different. What was that experience like for
Mhm.
you?
I would say for me, actually, I didn't.
Get in the mic.
For me, I would say that development stage where they should be knowing ABCs, one, two, threes, and things that he wouldn't eat. Like most babies or toddlers will eat like the toddler foods and stuff like that. He was not accepting to it. He didn't want it. So I was like, dang, why he not eating? So the doctor didn't know what was going on. She just gave me something to give him so he can eat, but it didn't help.
Mhm.
It took from a lady that was at my church one Tuesday night, and she saw me with him, and she asked me, "Was he autistic?" And I was like, "What is that?" Because I didn't know anything about it. And she told me some information, so I went to go get him tested. And then that's when I found out that he was autistic. And then I started going through the programs that his doctor gave me, and we went from there. And from there, I started my little journey with him.
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah. And Pornisha?
Ooh.
Oh, shout out to Sandy Campbell. That was the lady.
Oh yeah, that's good. And you remember stuff like that
Yes.
too. You know.
Yeah.
Yes.
I listen. I got my tissue, y'all, because
I have a long story
period.
too.
I will cry
I'm trying to hold back.
in a heartbeat.
Hey.
My throat
Okay,
right here.
listen.
Right here in the throat.
Look.
Ready to cry.
I
I
will cry in a
look.
heartbeat.
I cry. I cry. I cry in this show when I be in here by myself. So
I will cry.
do what
too,
you need to
too
do.
fast. So I'm gonna try to keep it together. But for me, moms just kind of know something is different, something ain't right, something is off, or something. And my son, he actually had language at first. It wasn't, I won't say it was like full sentences or anything like that, but he had words, ball, eat, stuff like that. So he had some words that I wasn't particularly cautionary in the very, very beginning. We did catch it very early though. We caught it right before he was caught very early, probably about 2 almost, which usually you don't really have language. It's not really a huge expectation. But he was almost 2, I think it was. It was January 9th, 2019. I remember that he was diagnosed, the day he was diagnosed. And that was like a little bit before his second birthday. But he was jumping, flapping the arms, jumping, just a lot of jumping, a lot of wouldn't sit down, and just his words began to change. It wasn't real, like they weren't real words. It was, he had this word, I remember, he'd just be like, bi, 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 and we like, what that mean. And it went from ball to those kind of like strange words, and it was like, okay. Then the words just decreased. The attention and the focus wasn't there. No eye contact. So it was just kind of like something is kind of off. I would read to him. He was not interested. Wouldn't want to sit still for it. So, the doctors, as you go, they kind of give you that paperwork, like what they should be doing at this age and so on and so forth. So as the check marks just kept decreasing, she like, well, if he not talking, let's get him in birth to 3. We do that. And that's kind of where immediately I remember the lady coming to the house and kind of just doing an assessment on him, but she just was playing with him. And I remember her telling me, like, I think, your son may have autism. And, at that point we had to get him tested for it. And, they confirmed that, yes, he was autistic. So it was extremely difficult to hear. My mother also kind of brought it up to me, like, that she worked with kids. She was a social worker. So she really was, in the game and knew kind of signs and a lot of resources and stuff like that. So she kind of pointed it out as well. Like, she didn't, I don't know if I can't remember if she said autism, but I just remember her saying, like, you got to get the doctors involved to see what's what, and birth to 3. And that's exactly what happened. And that's how we got him diagnosed. So, and from there, we just, like she said, kind of just went rolling immediately, to get things in order.
Yeah, I feel like for my brother in particular, our journey was a little similar to yours, Pornisha, where my brother was developing, he was counting and starting to get language at a normal rate, and then one day it just seemed like it stopped. I particularly remember playing with him one day, and you know how you throw kids in the air and they love it. I picked him up one day to throw him in the air and he like freaked out, and I was like, this is not the same kid that I've been playing with for the last year and a half, 2 years. And we also have a cousin who's similar in age to him, and then we just started to notice that these differences between these two kids, like at first it was like they're like 6 months apart, so whatever. And then after a while I was like, nah, this is more than just a couple months of development different. And then Moesghetii is in the comments, she said that Nana Steen, who's our grandmother, and she worked in a daycare, so she's seen all types of kids. She was one of the people to say something about autism, because back in 2001 I had only heard of the word autism on an episode of Oprah one time.
On who?
Oprah.
Oh, Oprah. Gotcha.
And so for me, I had a little bit of suspicion that might be something going on, but like, you don't diagnose your siblings off an episode of Oprah. But as it came about, it was like, oh, okay, well, and then mom got him tested, and from there, like you guys, the different resources came about, and we just kind of leaned into everything that there was to offer. So I guess I wanna know a little bit more though, how it was for you guys emotionally to hear definitively my child is different. This thing called autism, which I don't know, had you guys ever heard of autism before the diagnosis? And what was that like thought process like for you?
When they told me that he was autistic, I started doing research on it because I didn't know anything about it, and nobody in my family like was autistic, so nobody talked about it. So I had to figure it out on my own, go to these resources, and go to his doctor for asking questions about different things. And it was very emotional, and I didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
I'm like, what, am I fit to do this? Am I fit to take care of him? You know what I'm saying? It was hard. Like, I'm trying to figure him out and go to work. And then, I have my daughter as well. So it was like hard trying to figure him out, go to work, then making sure that daycare was good to take care of my child, because I end up developed the stage I was in defense mode too about him, because now I don't want nobody to have my child.
Absolutely.
Because ain't nobody gonna care for him how I'm gonna care for him. So I did my little researches and did what I need to do for him. He did started off on medication, went from one medication to 2 medications, till he got to middle school. He was off both of them because as the years go on, I was giving him the medication because he was hyper as well, and so he could stay focused in school. But when he was at home, we had a routine, so we was good at home. He didn't need the medication at home. So I started to tell the teachers what I do at home and what they can do for him at school, because I'm not going to give him medication just to make you comfortable.
Absolutely.
We're not doing that. So that's where all my defense mode and my aggression that came from. Everybody, you be so aggressive. No, it came from because I'm protecting my baby. So that's why I'm all high school and I'm all strong. Because baby, it came from me protecting my babies. So, and I needed them. I was an advocate for my kids, so I had to let them know this is what works for me, and it should work for you. So when they did that and put those in place, it worked out, and I took them off those medications.
And did you find the school to be receptive to what you had to say?
Yes. All of the school that he went to, because I made sure I handpicked the schools, and I had to meet the teacher and who was going to be taking care of him. I needed to meet you because I needed to get this vibe from you. I need to connect. You had my phone number. You had his dad's phone number. You had his sister's phone number. And if anything going throughout the day, call my phone, text me, whatever. I'm going to stop what I'm doing to see what y'all talking about.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I was about that for my baby.
And
for me, when I first found out, I was heartbroken. I mean, even the suspicion of it being autism, I broke down. I was just like, man, like, why my child? You know, this was my first child, my only child. And, you know, you just have a certain expectation of what your child will be, what you and your child relationship will be like. I didn't have my first child, my only child rather, till I was 34. So it's like, I already waited forever. I mean, and I waited till I got married to have a child. And, you know, that wasn't the expectation. You know, we in church, you know, they tell us like, you know, get married, have a kid. Like, so I'm thinking I'm trying to do
it all
things
right.
the right
You
way.
did it right.
And it just, you know, neither one of them, my marriage ended, and, you know, my child now has a, you know, a disability that these two things, I thought these were the two things I lived for. Like, I wanted to be married, I wanted to be a mom. And it just felt like life was just like, dang, like everything I lived for just disintegrated. You know what I'm saying? So, I watched this, this just not too long ago, I watched this, what is it called? Like a symposium, I guess. And it was a Black lady on there, like a therapist, saying, you have to grieve the child that you thought you were going to have. You know, when you have an autistic child, you have to grieve the child that you imagined, that you thought would be, so that you can begin to accept and love the child that you currently, you know, that you actually have. Yeah. And that spoke volumes to me, because it sounds bad, but at the end of the day, it's like,
it's the truth.
If you sit and stick with what you thought your child should be, or what you thought, you know, parenthood should be with an autistic child, like, you'll never get over it. You'll never be able to genuinely pour into your kid that you actually have been blessed with, you know? So
it's hard to fully love somebody when you want them to be something
else. Yeah. Or something. Right. Even like, I mean, another example is just like a person that wanted a son, but they get a daughter. Right. You know, you got to grieve that. Like, you didn't get a daughter, you got a son, so deal with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, love what you have and pour into that. And so, you know, it was very tough to hear that. However, I'm like her. I will say I didn't do a whole lot of research, because a lot of the stuff that I did read, autism doesn't have like a true meaning.
Right.
It's just kind of like, it is what it is. Nobody is the same. Everyone is different. You know, so it's kind of like, this is my autism with my son. Yes. That's your autism with your son. Right. That's your autism with your brother. You get what I'm saying? So it's like, it ain't the same. Yeah, there are some features that, you know, appear kind of across the board. It's just never the same though. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I didn't really dig into the research portion, because of course, whatever you Google, you gonna get those results anyway. Right. So it's like, whatever I want to hear, I'm gonna Google that, and that's what it's gonna be. So it's like, whatever, I gotta just figure out what my son got going on. Right. What do I need to do to, you know, pour into him and make sure he good? Because I can't match what she got going on. Right. Her son is totally different than my son. So it was really just getting over what I thought it should be, what I thought you know, what my son was going to be, and tapping into who he is. And that's really what it was for me. It was just, I had a moment of grief, and then I had to get on the ground running, you know?
Yeah. And I know you said Shanee, this Elijah, right? Elijah is your second child.
Yes.
And Cass is your only child.
Correct.
And then my brother Julius is how many of us? He's
2, 3. Come on, mama. Mama Land, tell us how many of it is.
He the third. He the third of yeah, he's the third of of four of us.
Okay.
And so it's like this isn't our first time around like with kids in the family. This
Yeah.
isn't, so we really had certain expectations of what life should be like with a kid. And
Correct.
like I got all these cousins and stuff too. Like that was at a time we was having kids just born in the family,
Right.
like back to back to back. So
Everybody growing up together,
right.
Yeah.
And then we got this one that's different, and it's like, yeah, you're right. You do have to kind of let go of the expectations of who and what you thought this person was going to be, and really lean into the reality of who they are. But when you really lean into the reality of who they are, you really get a chance to enjoy like
Absolutely.
the fullness of this person, whether or not they'll even engage with you back.
Period.
But you really do. I want to take a moment to read some of the comments. Moesghetii said her first feeling was relief to know what it was, and then it was like, okay, what are we gonna do for his well-being? And then later I was like, man, my last baby has a physical disability and now this one has a mental disability. What's up with me? And then Uncle Danny says Elijah is his friend.
Elijah, love you too, Danny.
Yeah, because I have a brother with a physical disability, so it's kind of like I know my mom went through some of the feelings of like, what did I do?
Yeah.
What
I've been
like
there.
how did I contribute to this? But when you do your research about autism, it's really not anything you did.
Correct.
It could be it could be something that you interacted with during pregnancy, or it could be something that was just in the environment, or it could be something that is genetic.
Correct.
That has occurred. And so really, if it's something that's genetic, all you did was exist.
Was live. Exactly.
If it's something that you just interacted with in the environment, like water or the air, like what really could you have done? And so we had that like experience of, all right, well, now we have someone and we don't know how to raise them, but let's adjust as a family.
Correct.
And then for us, like with the daycare stuff, it was a little bit different because it was well, my mom was still with his dad at the time, and then I'm in the household, so I'm a little bit older, and able to kind of, so we have like 3 people in the house when he's little who are really able to kind of be caretakers. And so the daycare thing really wasn't an issue because he didn't really go to daycare because somebody was always home. But when it was time to go to school, that was really different. It was really different.
Yeah.
But prayerfully he was with teachers who were very patient because my brother did not like clothes.
Okay.
And he didn't care where he was, where he didn't like his clothes.
Yeah.
And that was like one of the things on his IEP was to like get him to keep his clothes on the whole day.
Yeah.
And so, you start to adjust to like, one kid is me. And another kid is him. And we all got our different stuff.
Yeah.
Let's see. Mom said it really wasn't anything out there back then. We was just going through. Yeah. In 01.
Yeah, resources have significantly increased, and that's, for me, that's big. Like I feel like in the Black community we don't talk about this, we don't discuss. I'll have to be honest myself. I remember when my son was first diagnosed, it was like kind of hush hush for me. It was hard to be like, oh, this is what's going on. It was like, first of all, I wanted to be respectful of his father. His father, that it's hard for a Black man to also, understand and accept. Imagine what a Black man have for the expectation for his first son.
Exactly.
The idea of what it will be to be a father to a Black son, and what that looked like for him, what he thought it would look like. I'm sure he had to grieve that, and so I wanted to be respectful of him. Like, we don't want people in our business. We don't want nobody treating him different. Let's just, we gonna keep it moving. But yeah, you can't, because autism, they doing what they want to do.
Autism is gonna tell on itself.
Autism gonna autism, and it's like, listen,
autism.
It's gonna be some meltdowns. It's gonna be something that look different. Of course, my son was nonverbal. I had to begin to explain because people wanted to know. And I'm not going to front. It was very hard for me because, like, for my church family, they love me. They care a lot about me. And so I was kind of, kind of forced to tell them, and it was hard for me because I felt like in one moment I felt like, dude, get out of my business. You know, I don't want to talk about it right now. You know, I'm dealing with it myself with just accepting where my child is, you know. But at the same time, I had to understand they care about me, they love me, they want to support me, but it's like they can't if I'm not open about what's what. You know what I'm saying? And I had to open up. It was so hard. My church kind of forced me. And I wanted to fight some of y'all, you know what I'm saying? But I love y'all for that because it put me where I am now, where now I can be more boisterous. I can be more forthcoming. And I have learned and realized that me coming out and being more boisterous about it has allowed a lot of people in silence to come to me and say, you know, what can I do? What do I need? Where do I need to go? Just to kind of get their footing started. You know, I'm so thankful that my church pushed me because I could have been so quiet and suffered in silence like a lot of our people do in this community. You know, it's unfortunate, but that's kind of how we kind of came up. Oh, man, he bad. Nah, man ain't bad. Man got something else going on that we not willing to talk about. And it's like, unless we do this right here, this gives people the bravery to say, let me go see, let me find out. You know, the number one step, get them tested. That's it. And that right there alone breaks down barriers, because if you're willing to get your child tested, it may not be autism. Right. It may be something else, but you won't know until you're willing to put yourself on the line to say, there's a problem here. Don't be whooping your kids all day long and don't even know what they dealing with or what they got going on. So, you know.
And that's important. Number one is go get tested, because you're not only helping yourself, you're helping your child.
Absolutely.
To be a better person. So get out there and get your kid tested.
I mean, and that really goes for anything that you feel like is going on with your child that is developmentally different than what the doctors and what the professionals are saying. I mean, because of course everybody's child is different and is going to pick up different developmental markers when they do. But there are clear times when this child is delayed in this area.
Absolutely.
And it is our responsibility as their caretakers to get past ourselves, because that is nothing but our own shame and guilt that be in the way. It's your own shame and guilt that will keep you from getting your baby help.
Absolutely.
And when you get your baby some help, there's no shame in getting help. We all need help every once in a while.
Yes, we do.
You know, I popped a button on my shirt today. I could use somebody who know how to sew. Like, you just need help every once in a while. But when you can get past your own ego, when you can grieve and accept the fact that your child is different or might be different, you can get them the help that they need to be functional. It's not even about being normal, because what's normal? Like, who cares? But be functional, be productive, because in the past, like, I know some people who have taken their loved ones, just kind of locked them away.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And they don't really have a quality of life.
And you miss out on so many. I think back to my son. He didn't have eye contact. Wasn't really emotional. You know, didn't know how to really, like, he literally would look at your hand as like a device. It wasn't you as a person. Just putting him through different therapies, and some of them were extensive, and you know, it's tough, but it definitely enhanced my child, you know, to be better today. Had I not gone through those things with him and put him through those processes, we would still be where we were, you know. And I have a ton of hope for what his future looks like for him. Do I know if I'll have to take care of him forever? I don't know. I'm not sure. I know a year ago he couldn't make a straight line. I know today he can trace the whole entire alphabet. Like, you know, so without working with children, with my child, having, like she said, getting the teachers involved, you have to be defensive. Unfortunately, you have to let it be known, hey, I know y'all got a bunch of kids that's whatever, but this one right here, we don't play with this one.
Yeah.
So this one gonna have whatever it need in place. And you're going to take up the extra time with this child because I'm doing it as well. I'm not expecting you, the teacher, to do everything. I'm at home also doing these same things. And like she said, I'm at home. He didn't need medication.
Yeah.
But then he get to school and he need it. No,
No,
y'all
we
gonna
get
have
this
to do
together.
what I'm doing at home to do
Mhm.
what needs to be done for my child.
Mhm.
And that's being an advocate for your child.
Mhm.
You, the parent, have to advocate. If you
Mhm.
do not advocate, your child will literally be in the wind.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And that's autism or not.
Yeah.
You know, that's any child. You
Yeah.
have to advocate for your child because that's for anybody in life. Like even if you have an older parent, if they're in a nursing home,
Mm-hmm.
if you don't advocate,
But
come in and show
Right.
we
We
see
care.
about our parent or we
Mhm.
see about our
We'll
loved
treat 'em
one,
anyway.
they'll do whatever.
Whatever.
And so that's just life in general. You have to advocate in any situation if you want anybody else to care as much
Yeah.
as you do. You know what I mean?
All right. Shanee, I got a question for you because you said you mentioned like you would go in and you got to check their energy and see like what they're about. Like, so how when you checking in, because this is important, people know when you're checking in with somebody, how do you know, how do you feel, how do you know that this is somebody I can trust with my child?
To me, when I ask a question, I ask them, "What made you want to teach kids with special need kids?" I ask those questions, and um, I see how they interact with the classmate and the kids that's in the classroom. Sometimes I do pop-ups, like I take
Absolutely.
off work
Hello.
and I come up to school and I will watch through the door to see how they treat the kids.
And what are you looking for?
I want to see if you mistreating or you side pinching them, or I need to know what you're doing, because I'm gonna catch you in action. But I was coming up to the school checking on my son. Especially when school started, I always took off that week so I can go to school with him, because I wanted to get him checked in. I want to make sure he had what he needed and who with the teachers that he was going to be interacting with on his first week of school. So I took those weeks off to be there with him on his first day, because I know that it's like he get anxiety or it's too much for him. So I want to make sure he's comfortable, and then he'll let me know, "Mom, you can go now." Like I was like, "You sure I can go now?" Like, "Yes, you can go. Don't beat him up." This is what she said. "Don't beat him up," because I'll be asking questions.
Right.
But that was the Elijah little situation.
Come on, Elijah, you better advocate for yourself.
Yeah, that was it. I was just seeing how they interact with the kids and see if they actually really have a heart for what they're doing, because some people just do it for a paycheck.
Yeah,
Mhm.
true. You're right about
Ooh,
that.
having a heart for what you're doing goes a long way. It makes you feel
Mhm.
like as the parent or as the caretaker that you can let your guard down a little bit when you
Yes.
can tell that the person actually has a heart for what they're
Absolutely.
doing.
Mhm.
Because that heart for what you're doing goes a long way. When you get frustrated, but you really have a heart for what you're doing,
Mhm.
you check yourself
figure
and
it
you
out,
remind
yeah.
yourself why you're here, and yeah,
Mhm.
you can figure it out.
Yeah.
So I would like to know, like, because Pornisha, you just mentioned that you. Oh, I'm sorry. Should I read some comments?
That's my
Oh,
daughter.
yeah,
Yeah,
That's
because
my
the
daughter.
comments are going. Y'all are
That's my
going. I
daughter,
love it.
Samari.
Samari, hey girl, Miss Logan and you. Look, you have been. I want to give a shout out to Miss Logan
Period.
and
That's
you,
my friend.
because Miss Logan to you has been sharing this the flyer for this episode all over the place, and so I appreciate you
Aw.
specifically. I know you're not the only one that's been sharing it, but you've been
Yeah,
you've
she
been on
always
it.
Very
very
You've been on
supportive.
it, trying to
Thank
get
you,
eyes on this
girl.
conversation. I
Very
appreciate you for
supportive.
that.
We actually went to something yesterday with her. She has a foundation called don't kill me. Don't kill me.
You can-
Highest Regard Foundation.
Highest-
And her daughter is also she had a very rough situation. Her daughter is also, I think, 19 or 20. And one day she was fine, regular teenager.
Mhm.
And one day just ended up having a bad sinus infection that turned into like literally like 20 brain surgeries.
Oh my
Wow.
God.
And so she has also hit the ground running immediately within the past 3 years, 2-3 years, dealing with her daughter.
Mhm.
And she don't play. She's
Mhm.
another advocate for her child. So her organization is Highest Regard Foundation, and she is very supportive, because this also is, just having a disabled child is very important to
It's
her
a
as
lot.
well.
It's a lot.
And it's a community,
Absolutely.
it's a community.
Yes, it
I mean, we absolutely need community. And with that being
Absolutely.
said, Miss Logan, to you or anybody else who is in the chat, if any of you guys would like to share resources about autism communities or other communities of disabled children or disabled loved ones, if you want to share any of those resources, either in the chat or you can drop them on the Moment with Moesghetii podcast page. I'll have to go and approve them when we're off the air. But please feel free to share that information, because I want this to be a community moment. I don't want this conversation to just stop here, even though this may or may not be the only autism awareness episode I do for right now. This is a life lifestyle and this is a life for many people, and I don't want the conversation and the resources just stop there. So if I could use my platform as a spot for y'all to kind of come together and grab what you need in this time period, feel free, y'all, to share whatever it is that you want to and need to in order for us to build better community.
Absolutely.
So I'm sorry.
And I also want to point out, like when your kids are in school and they have the programs for the kids, utilize those. Those help them out to be independent, prepare them to be on their own. So those things works well. That's what I did. Put Elijah in work programs. They pick them up as door to door, and it's very helpful. So you ain't got to worry about nobody picking them up or dropping them off.
Yeah.
So they can also work after school.
Okay. So my next question for you guys is, what was your, or have you had a hope moment where something happened where you it just it fortified you with hope that everything's going to be all right? Have you had a hope moment? And if you've had one, if you could share, or if you've had multiple, if you could share that with us.
For me, I would say I don't have an actual like moment well, I have a moment, but I don't have like it's hope for anything. So like just again, my son is nonverbal, so it's very difficult to kind of always know what he's thinking or what he wants. But every now and again, I've always when you research, you hear, oh, autistic children can be non-emotional, disattached from emotion. And every now and again, my son will just come up to me and hug me real tight and smile. And it's like in those moments, I'm like, we good. We gonna be good. Like my son is letting me know, like, Mom, I appreciate you. I'm thankful for you. I've never had a conversation with my son. And a lot of people take that for granted. I've never had, hey son, how your day today? How was school? I don't have that. So that moment when I get that tight hug, I know that speaks volumes to me that we are on a road to success. It may not look like success what everybody else's success look like, but I know it's our road of success. And so those moments give me major hope that, he can feel me and I can feel him, and that's we in sync together,
I don't know. I don't know. My moments is I don't know. Elijah, he give hugs every day. So every day before work and after work, and like if I'm coming home from after this, I'm gonna get a hug, and he gonna be like, "Where you was at, Mom? Did you grab me some chips and cookies?" But I would say my moment, I can go way back. I want to say 2015. I stopped working for like 2.5 years to figure Elijah out. I was tired of daycare because I have to switch a daycare like every week, because I'll always let them know about him before I sign him up for daycare, because I did not want to fill out that thick packet. I let you know who he is and what he's about before I send those papers, before I fill out those paperwork. And when you tell me that, oh yeah, we can take care of him, we got him, I fill out the paperwork, and then a week later you tell me he need one-on-one. But I already told you, I gave you an introduction before I did what I needed to do. So when I kept doing all of that, I had to stop what I was doing, stop working, and figure Elijah out, come up with a plan, a routine. And my daughter was also my helper, so she played mama number two, his dad as well. Figure Elijah out for that 2.5 years, and everything went good for me. And I was able to go back to work and was comfortable with him going to school and the teachers that he had. So those was my moments, because those was my most my breakdown moments, my depression. Nobody knew, because I didn't talk to nobody, because I didn't care. I feel like nobody cared. So I stuck it out with my family and we made it happen. Nice. So that's my thing with that.
That's your thing with that.
Yes.
Yeah. Your family And you get teary eyed when you was talking about that and your family and your community and being depressed. Like, how is your family? Because I know for us, like at that time when we found out about my brother's diagnosis, we also like moved out of town, so it was a bit isolating because we didn't have the full
Community.
community, the full family community.
Right.
Um, but I do know that if it wasn't for everybody in the household kind of playing their part, it would have been so much more difficult to navigate. So what is your family community or your church family community, or like what did your community look like, and how's that kind of helped you get through?
For me, my community is very small. Extremely. I That's honestly one of my largest fears because of the level of trust that I have. Because my son is nonverbal. That's my biggest piece is my son can't tell me anything as far as if he's hurt, if somebody hurt him, you know, anything inappropriate happen. I don't know. So my community is very small. I mean, I have a community of people that love and care for us, of course. But I mean, as far as circle, meaning my son can go here, here, here. Yeah, it's like two places. And that's my mom, of course, and then his dad. We literally heavily depend on one another because that's all we have. I've been fortunate enough to like I've done recently, my one of my workers, she kind of really tried to get me to stop having so much anxiety about respite. She like, dude, you got to tap in. Like you have to, So I've met I've had a few respite workers and I've literally only connected to one. And I love her to death. Her name is Jalea, young girl. She in college, for nursing and stuff like that. So she really helps me out a lot as well. But yeah, community super small. I don't mess around, when it comes because of him being nonverbal. If my son was verbal, it'd probably be a little different because it's like, all right, so and so bust me upside my head today. All right, well, we ain't going over there no more. We can't do that though. My son can come home like literally last week, scratch on his head one day from school, some other little bruise on the side of his head 2 days later. I'm like, dude, what's up? Like, I'm ready to fight.
Right.
Because he can't tell me.
Right.
He laughing and smiling like ain't nothing happened.
Right.
Because he, it may not even register to him.
Like he could be getting beat on or he could be being 7.
Yeah, exactly. Because 7 is busting their head up against the wall themselves. He in a boot right now because he done did
being much. 7.
Correct, being 7. So it's my community as far as where he can go is very small, Now my community for people that love me, of course, my church family, I got plenty friends and family that also love and support us 100%. It's not that I don't trust my family or church family at all, but like she said, you can have your child go somewhere and the people don't get them and don't know or haven't been exposed as much as they would need to be in order to be able to take care of him and not be overwhelmed or have to call me and be like, hey, you're gonna have to come get him because it's too much. You know what I'm saying? So I've had to learn that, hey, you probably can't go today or you can't do this week or that's out. If my mom or his dad can't get him, it's sad. You know what I mean? So it's unfortunate, but I try to make it happen. I listen. I got to have some time for me.
Both y'all be outside.
Listen, I'll be trying to be outside for real, but not to the point where it's like I'm like forget my kid, but I get outside with my kid too. True, that's one thing for sure. If I'm gonna be outside doing adult stuff, we gonna be outside doing this kid stuff too.
Exactly.
So,
but you have
to have some respite time for sure because you have to have a breather, you have to have a refresher because this is not for the weak. Okay, it's not for the weak people.
Most definitely not.
Not for the weak at all.
My community is small as well. Elijah can go to his Grandma Shirley house. That's who I trust him with. He can go with his dad. and be at home with his sister or by himself because he's very independent. He can be there, and my sister live downstairs as well.
Oh, nice.
But anywhere else, my auntie Sulla house, he like to go over there because we do the family gatherings and parties. So we said we going to Auntie Sulla house, we going to Papa's house. I was like, yep, we going to Papa's house. He ready to go. He grabbing his game. Nice. He ready to go there, hang out with the family. And when it's time to go, he gonna let you know it's time to go.
Yes.
So yeah, but those. It's small as well.
Yeah. I mean, for my brother, I mean, he's much older now, so he's been able to find, and he's pretty verbal too, so he's been able to find community like at school, and he's worked before, and it's like everywhere he goes, people love him to death. Like everybody loves Julius because he don't want to he
don't want no smoke.
He don't want no smoke. He want everybody to be happy. Right. He want everybody to be loved, and so
he's a Elijah.
Yeah. Yeah, but it wasn't when he was little. It was very much so the same as he's not verbal. So hey, he gonna be at the house with us.
Yeah, who we know,
where we are. We know how to lock all these doors. He know how to unlock all of them.
Oh, don't get me started with that.
But also, but like not to exclude my nephew. He's no longer living in Wisconsin. But when he was here, it was a matter of my sister only trusted a few people because some people are willing to do it. They might not even get frustrated with it, but they might not even have the attention span that it requires to take care of a child with autism. And you got to pay attention to them like a toddler, even when they're much bigger than when they're big enough to get into stuff. You still got to pay attention to them like a toddler who might put something in their mouth because they'll be outside down the street.
Yeah,
because they want to.
Oh, literally. I recall you say that.
Literally. Like I just a flashback.
I don't think I ever told nobody.
No, that happened to me while babysitting. Go ahead.
I ain't told nobody, okay?
But I'm about to tell it.
Well, look, we breaking down walls. We've opened this, telling on ourselves. Oh, he over there touching stuff.
Over there messing up stuff. All right now. No. But I recall one time. This was literally seconds. Like I'm serious, seconds. I think we was getting ready to go outside, and I went to the kitchen sink to do something. Boy, I turned around, he out in the front yard, and I'm like, oh my God! Like I was just like devastated. And thank God he had enough sense to know I don't go past the tree because that's something I had it instilled. Like, hey, we don't go past the tree in our front yard. Even when I'm here with you, we don't go past that. And I had to trying to, create boundaries for him. But scary, super scary moments. Like you said, my son, I don't know if a lot of people know that do have autistic children, but they do have where you can get like a handicap sticker if they're a darter, meaning they will hop out and dart out anywhere in the street, in the parking lot. You can go online and, I think it's through the DMV, if I'm not mistaken. It's been a few years.
It is.
But yeah, through the DMV, you can get a disability sticker for your car so that you can park, at the front of stores and things like that to avoid them darting out, in a large parking lot. If you got to park way down, if you got a child that's want to just hit it on you, get that disability sticker. We're gonna drop some resource gems within this conversation.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So anybody that has a child that and you pretty much do it through your doctor. Your doctor just approves it, and you can get that disability sticker if your child, that they could run off. Also, another shout out to the children's long-term service waiver. I think it is CLTW or CLTS, one of the two. They also can provide you, like my son, like when that happened, I immediately got afraid. And I talked to his worker. Boom, she got me the whole ring system. Stop playing. We need to hear these doors doing something when he think he finna go out a door because it's a safety concern.
Yes.
So again, you ask your worker, hey, my son, this is one of my concerns for him is safety. Is there a way I can get cameras in my home, ring system for the door so that I can be alarmed when my child is trying to leave, if that's a safety concern? Again, free of charge because, this is a resource due to his disability.
Exactly.
So, that's, stuff like that. Okay, let's brace ourselves now.
I know.
Right.
Nah, your baby went to the tree. My baby went around the corner. He was
Listen.
to the store. Elijah said, I'm not taking his bath. I got his bath ready. And mind you, we was on the second floor. And we all looking through the house for Elijah. He was already 2 blocks away.
Oh,
Oh my
He was almost at the store because he knew how to get there.
scary.
god.
Girl,
You talking about a mini heart attack for
listen,
about
I
2
almost
minutes.
died. And because I knew the people in the neighborhood, they knew who he was. They snatched him up. I was like, man, heart was outside my body. Okay,
Yeah, it's
he was a
scary.
runner, baby. He should have been a track star.
Man, I I did tell you the story. I had no choice to. I'm like, did I tell her? Of course she
Look,
did.
your mama.
Yeah.
You
No,
like,
'cause-
wait, she
'cause
listening. Do
I'm like,
I want
wait
to
a-
be telling her this right quick?
I was
You
like,
finna get a whooping and you in your 30s.
right? Whole 35 and be on punishment. We
Right.
don't even live in this state. But I was at home and I was babysitting my brother Julius, and I have another brother who's younger than him. And I'm pregnant during this story, so I'm in the room. I think I got the doors locked to the house, so we cool. I'm laying in the bed watching TV, and then you know when it just get too quiet,
Yeah,
Mhm.
you got to get up.
and I was like,
what's
wait a
going
minute.
on?
I was like, wait a minute.
Correct.
I was like, wait a minute, it's too quiet. And I get up, front door to the house wide open.
oh,
My youngest brother is standing in the doorway, like in his diaper, like just chilling. The neighbor kids are at the door, like,
Julia's gone.
I don't know what's going on. And I'm like, okay. So I take my youngest brother, I pull him in the house, close the door, and we live at the top of a hill in this story. And I was just like, I don't know what to do. I don't see my brother. What would I do? If I was a kid, I would go downhill. So I started going downhill. My brother bucket naked.
Oh Lord.
And there's this white man on a bike. Well, not on the bike. This white man got his bike in one hand and my brother in the other hand,
Oh.
walking up the hill. And he said, I figured he came from uphill. And I was just like, oh my God.
Like just
Sprint
devastated.
off running, scoop my brother up in my arms, run uphill. Did I mention I'm pregnant in this story?
right.
Like 7 months.
Oh,
like
wow.
big pregnant. Pull a muscle in my belly. It's okay. I was like,
Oh,
it was just a
God.
little uncomfortable.
Okay.
Bring him in the house. As soon as I get him in the house, my parents pull up. I run outside. I'm freaking out. I was like, I just lost him. I just found him. I don't know what to do. They like, how you let him out? I'm like, I didn't let him out. I locked the door. I swear I did. I turned
Right.
around and go back in the house, door locked.
He gone.
I said, oh, that was the day we learned that he knew how to lock and
y'all
unlock
out.
the door.
Oh wow.
They had keys, so we was able to get in. But
I've been locked out before.
yeah,
I've
so
been locked in
yeah.
the garage before and on the front
we
porch.
we just spent all the rest of the afternoon in the house waiting for CPS to show up.
Listen,
Oh, Lord.
They didn't.
That's
thank
good.
God.
They didn't. Thank God. Everybody stayed home. But yeah.
Somebody dropping gems in there too.
Hey,
My friend
Diamond.
Diamond. Hey, Diamond girl.
Hey y'all. Thank you for dropping the resources. I appreciate y'all.
Yes,
All
you got dhs.wisconsin.gov definitely for this children's long-term service waiver. So yes,
Ooh.
Hey.
if you need that, if your child is, I think it's under 18, unfortunately. I hear that the resources are not as flourishing as they are for the younger children. But there's still resources out there for, adult children
Yeah.
on the, spectrum as well.
Yeah.
Just a little harder to find them, unfortunately.
It most definitely
Yeah.
is.
Yeah. But they are available, but you'll probably just have to look more into just disability services as a whole
Absolutely.
for the people with autism who are adults, and you'll be able to find something that you need for them to
find
have.
it for all age range though.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Community is the biggest thing though. It's
Right.
just, I find that since my journey, and my journey inspired me, as I was going along. Like I have different things that I was kind of going through, like haircuts, crazy,
Mhm.
such a hard task. And I'm like, all these autism groups out here were kind of catering to the white children, unfortunately.
Mhm.
And for us, we can't get our hair cut by whites. They don't know how to cut our hair.
It's not the same experience.
Exactly. So it was like I didn't have anybody to talk to, and I created my own group, and it's called Autistic and Black in Milwaukee on Facebook. It was very private.
It's called
originally.
what?
Autistic and Black in Milwaukee.
And it's a what?
It's a Facebook group
Mhm.
for autism, and it's strictly for Milwaukee because I wanted it to be about resources here versus just worldwide. I was just more or
Mhm.
less trying to build a community here.
Yeah, consolidate.
And just being able to, share with each other those moments. Hey, who cutting your baby hair? Who got the patience? Because I can't do that in the autism group for southeastern Wisconsin per se, because it's so many people in there. It's so many comments flowing. Your comment may get flooded. I wanted it to be, hey, we autistic, we Black, and we in Milwaukee. I wanted that to be the focus. And I have a very small group, but we share resources like it ain't nothing. When one hears something, we putting it in there. I just left for summer camp last week for my son, and I come to find out 4 or 5 people in my group is in there because we boom shared it. Boom, hey, sign them up. Because that's what we have to do as a community is share our resources. And if we're not talking about it, we're missing out on opportunities for our children, things that they could be benefiting from. But we're too quiet. We trying to keep it to, and I get it. I'm not, it's no judgment or no shade, because I was there. I was afraid, I was scared, I didn't know what to do. I wasn't never ashamed. It was never a piece of shame in me, but it was just more like I didn't want nobody treating my son different or, looking at him strange or weird. You know what I mean? I wanted it to be like, no, he just a normal kid, because he is. He a kid just like everybody else, But if I didn't speak about it and I didn't, express it, it's some people missing out.
Yeah.
On the stuff that somebody gave me. Somebody threw some gems at me one day. I'm sharing them. I'm trying to keep them going because somebody don't know.
Right.
And then once you start knowing, you start looking more and more and more into what your child can benefit from.
Right. And every resource that your child benefits from, you benefit from.
Absolutely.
Every time you can find something that makes your child's life easier, it makes your life easier.
Absolutely.
If your child becomes verbal, your life is easier. If your child has somewhere to go that's safe, your life is easier. If you can get that disability sticker so you can walk into the store without having to go through the whole Target parking lot, your life is easier. And so every piece that you pour into your child, you're also pouring into you, because it is about the child, but we cannot allow yourself to be completely lost in the child, because you are still a human being, has to live your life. Even if you do have to take care of this child for the rest of your life, you still have your life to live. And by cutting yourself off from community, cutting yourself off from resources, cutting yourself off from help, and suffering in silence, you just do just that, suffer in some spaces that you might not actually have to suffer in.
Yes.
And so we don't want you to suffer. We want you to build. We want community. We want connection. We want support, so that whatever we can do to lighten the load, so that you guys as parents get what you need, and so that your children get what they need, so they can have a full life. Because these are people. Their brains are just a little different. The way they interpret the world is just a little bit different.
Yes.
Their interests are just a little bit different. What they focus on, how they play, is just a little bit different. But they still are people who deserve full lives. If they can have a full life and you can have a full life, this autism thing, it don't stop nothing. It just means that the world is colored a little different.
Absolutely.
Oh goodness. All right, ladies. We've been on here for a solid hour, and this has been such a great experience. So I want to start wrapping up, and I guess I will say, ask you if there's anything that you would like to say to any parents out there who either suspect their child might be on the spectrum, or recently found out that their child is on the spectrum, or if they're just kind of still living, in silence and solitude. What would you like to say to those parents or to those family members?
You want to go first? Or I would say, number one, get your kids tested. It's not the end of the world. Seek God, take it one day at a time, and also just build your community with your family, the people that you trust, and pretty much get to know your child.
Absolutely.
I recently am in a autism, like, kind of not self-help, but like a parent group, caregiver group. And something that one of the ladies said to in the group, was that autism you may have, her son taught her that in autism you may have a bad moment but not a bad day or a bad life. um and that spoke volumes to me because what she was expressing is that your child may have a whole meltdown and 2 minutes later they smiling and happy like ain't nothing happened, like they ain't just acted a plum fool. And so excuse me. And so that alone just speaks volumes to me, like it's not all bad. It might be some moments that are tough and rough, but overall, you're gonna make it through. It's not gonna be forever. I would always like to say to any parent out there that may see the signs, if you don't know the signs, definitely, if your child is not doing what the papers say they should be, that's your number one red flag. Definitely, as she stated, get your child tested. I promise you, getting your child tested will kind of put all the remaining pieces in place. Without that diagnosis, you know, it's kind of tough to kind of really figure out what you're dealing with. I know we don't want to have a label on our child. Trust me, I don't like it. I'm not sitting here saying, "Oh, I'm just so happy my child has autism." I'm not excited and ecstatic about it. However, this is our life. This is our race. Like God has a race for every last one of us. This is my race. I think about how I'm a very loud and outspoken and boisterous person, and my child is nonverbal. And for years, my mama would be like, "You so loud, shut up, you talk too much." And full circle, God made me this way because He know I was gonna need to be like this for my child. My child is not able to speak. I'm speaking for both of us. He's nonverbal, but I'm not. And so that right there tells me this is my race. This is my purpose. This is what I was brought here for. It took a long time to get here, 34 years before I had my child, but here I am. This is now my life has real purpose for it. Definitely get your child tested. Number one thing. Number two, tap into your resources. There are resources out there, but they're not going to fall into your lap. You have to get with the right people. When you know anybody that knows somebody, tap them in. I tell people that I'm in connection with all the time. Let other people know. Put them onto our platform with us, because if they don't know, they don't know. And it's small stuff that literally, like she said, can change everything for you. I remember my son just being 4 and wasn't potty trained, and I'm still buying, pull-ups, and that stuff expensive. At 4 years old, with the waiver, your child can receive free pull-ups. You know what I'm saying? Stuff that people don't know that could be a lifesaver, a game changer, a money saver. Like listen, right now, I'm the food part. Oh, don't get me started on the food part. The money that I spend on food. I'm literally in my mind.
So hungry.
And they want certain stuff. I'm literally at Chick-fil-A, McDonald's, and Culver's just about every day. These 3. And no, I don't want my child to eat that. I hate it, but this is what my child eats. I am in the mind frame right now. I said to myself the other day, I need to see if it's some type of grants out here that like pay for these kids food. Listen. Because I got a friend that her son only eat Popeyes. Like it's expensive. Like, you get what I'm saying? It is very expensive sometimes. And again, no child is the same. Every child has their own thing. So tap into these resources, I'm telling y'all, because some of them are game changers. Seek God. You know what I mean? My church family has tremendously supported me. Of course, we sisters in Christ. This is why I'm here today. My church family bringing me to the table. And I'm glad that I'm able today to speak as I am. Because this 3 years ago, nope, I would have been like, "Girl, I ain't coming on no podcast talking about no autism." Like, what? I'm just getting there. No, I'm not doing that. Like, but today, yeah, I'm here today. And somebody is where I was 3 years ago. And that's okay. I ain't judging you, but I want you to tap in, because I promise you, it's better on this side to just talk about it, get it out, because keeping it in, you're going to self-destruct yourself trying to, handle it and deal with it emotionally on your own, trying to hide your child because they have, fallouts. Listen, my child be falling out. He don't fall out, but he be falling out. and we still going. I don't care. You just, and the people stare, and I still deal with the defense. I be irritated because people stare, because my mother always taught me you don't stare at people, it's rude. But they gonna stare, and that's just what they do. But you have to be in tune with your child. You can't worry about what people doing. You cannot hide your children. Allow your child to go out, have a good time, because they also want to do things. Don't keep them in hiding because you're afraid of what people are going to think and how they're going to look at them and accept them. It don't matter. As long as you accept them and you care and you know what to do, that's all that matters. So end of the day, get tested and tap into these resources. I promise you, you won't regret it. You will not regret it.
And I guess I would say allow your child to be everything that they are.
Absolutely.
Don't limit them in any area that they might be interested in, or that they might want to explore, or that you might think that they're interested in, or what might be available to them, because you never know if they might excel. Like some, and I mean, it's a little stereotypical, but kind of not. Some autistic people end up having an extraordinary special ability.
Absolutely.
I don't want to put that on every child, so you sitting around looking, what's my autistic special ability? It's not like that. It's not like that. It's not like that. But some of them actually do have a very strong special ability in some area. And when you limit a child, or they might just be regular good at stuff. And when you limit a child because of their label, or because of what you think that they may or may not be able to do, they might not ever be able to tap into that. And at the same time, like I said, accept them for who they are. Absolutely. If they are limited in an area, it is okay that they are limited in that area. Take them as they are, where they are, either help them develop it or provide them with the resources to compensate for whatever it is that they are deficient in that area. So love your child and accept them for who they are, however great or however limited they are in every area of their lives.
And it's kind of like no different than a regular child.
It's really not.
You tap into what you see your child's strong suits are. And that's the same for autistic children. It's not any different. I mean, you just pretty much tap into
what they good at.
Correct.
What they good at.
Absolutely.
My baby, video gaming. He can play 2 players, 2 controller stick, but just going at it.
Wow.
Cold behind his head though.
And that's where society at today. With gaming. He could get to the bag, okay?
You better set him on Twitch. For real. I want to see that. Wait a minute.
Right, he's so cold.
That's what's up.
Hey, you know what, ladies, I really truly do appreciate you ladies being here with me. Let me tell you, I can invite many people on the show. I know a lot of people who do a lot of things, but you two, I see y'all, and I wanted to let y'all know that I see y'all.
Thank you.
I
ain't gonna cry. I promise you I'm not. I only cried once. I ain't doing it again.
I'm gonna try to make both of them cry right now.
I ain't gonna do it.
I see y'all though, like like Shanee and I sing together, and Anthony Moesghetii and Praise Motivated. Our single is coming out soon. I'm just saying. But we sing together. We're both sopranos together, and I see how you're fully engaged in the choir life, and I see you continuing on further in your education. I see I know your daughter Samaria and how wonderful she is, how lovely she is, and the way that she is just growing and thriving in life. And I see you still living a very robust life and still accomplishing your goals and moving forward with your own personal dreams with this child who has autism. And so I wanted to let you know I see you, and I appreciate you, and I appreciate you for being here. And then Pornisha, cry.
I'm not crying.
And then Pornisha, like she said, we're sisters in Christ. We sit here in church with each other every week. And like I said, my brother Julius is 23, but back when he was 3, we sat in the same congregation on the other side of the church, and we didn't do as good of a job saying in service as you do. My brother, as soon as the singing would finish, he'd want to keep singing. And it was, I know what a challenge it is to try to sit specifically in that congregation and carry on with somebody, with a child that wants to holler with, and I see you come, and I know our pastor talks about it all the time, but it's a real thing. We see you come, we see you bring him, we see you train him to sit in church and worship, and the importance of it, and no, we're not just going to spend all our time in the cry room. We're going to sit in the sanctuary, and no, you're going to sit still, and no, you're not going to sit here with your headphones on the whole time. I mean, he be having
He
his
do.
stuff. He be having his stuff.
But the funny part is he be listening to church songs on the headphones.
I believe
that's
it.
what he be in there doing all this. Girl,
But-
he love him some Leandria Johnson. He be in there just a rocking. Yeah, he love Leandria Johnson.
But I see you still able to come in and not just sit there in church, but do your functions at the building. Because Pornisha don't just sit in church. She be counting the numbers every week. She be working in the kitchen. She does ministry work at the building. And so I see you. And I appreciate you. And I appreciate you ladies for agreeing to be here with me today, because like I said, autism has touched my family, and I know it's hard, and I know it's isolating, and I know it's frustrating. It can be depressing. It can give you anxiety. It can drum up all of these things in you. But the more we connect with each other, the more we come out of our secret hiding places, and we share with each other, and we build community, and we share resources, the better that all of us can be as individuals and as community members. Sharing space with each other, sharing space with our autistic people. And so I just really appreciate you ladies for being here today with me.
Thank you for having us, for sure. Can I throw a few little shameless
Go
plugs
ahead.
out there?
I actually
little couple
what
plugs.
that say at the bottom of my page?
Plug your things.
Plug your things.
So some of my plugs won't be for me. Again, my friend Miss Logan to you. Tay, I ain't calling you no Miss Logan to you. Tay. Again, she is, she has a Higher Regard Foundation. Hers is not specifically to autism at all, but just to disabilities in general. So she definitely does a lot of events. She has an event actually coming up here April 20th in Sherman, Phoenix, for caregivers of disabled children, or young adults, whatnot. So that I definitely want to plug her. Also, a new autism foundation, and she'll probably share it in the group as well, or in the live as well. Another new group, autism group, is J. Crew Foundation. A guy I went to school with, his name is Brandon Joseph, and his wife Jonda Joseph. They have J. Crew Foundation. They are strictly for autism. They have an autistic son. I believe BJ is maybe 12, I think 12 or 13. So they also have a very high passion for autism as well. They have a lot of things that they do in the community, a lot of events they go to and things like that. So they're always willing to work with anybody when it comes to autism. Another thing is there will be an autism walk. A friend of mine, his name is Deontay Harris. He has an autism walk that he has done, I think, for the past 3 years now. I want to say this is either his 3rd or 4th year. He also has a son that is autistic. He has the walk. It's not to raise money. It's literally just to bring awareness, which is why I walk with him. We have, of course, the big autism walks. For me, those are like kind of, to me, they're geared towards money. I ain't on that, and I just happened to one day, he had a walk, and my cousin Tamiko shared it with me, and I reached out to him. I had never had anybody walk for my son. And so I had a pretty big outcome, that people that showed up for me to come to his walk. And I've just been walking with him ever since, every year. His is not focused directly just on his son. It's autism in general. He has that walk coming up April 27th. Again, his name is Deontay Harris. And then my plug for me.
Go ahead, plug yourself.
I have a very, very small group. I'm not looking to get like 1,000 new members or
currently
like that.
Small,
very small, but and I like it, to be intimate, because this is real. I don't play, I scream the people that come in there. You need to have a loved one that is on the autism spectrum. This ain't just to be coming in here looking around. This is really, we trying to share. We trying to make a community. And again, the group is called Autistic and Black in Milwaukee. Autistic and Black in Milwaukee. Very small. It's only about 48 members so far.
That ain't small.
To me, it is. It started out with 6, but I've had it for, I think, 3 years now. I'm shocked that little time went quick, because I didn't even realize it. But it's growing more and more. We're sharing
Autistic and Black
in Milwaukee. Yep, autistic and Black in Milwaukee. And we're sharing resources. We ain't playing. We've grown to, become closer. We don't know each other per se personally, all of us, but we share those resources, and we get our children signed up for things that they should be receiving, that they're entitled to due to their, being on the autism spectrum disorder, that can help them. We ain't afraid. We're going to tell it. We have some that don't speak, and that's fine. If you want to sit in the background and just watch and hear the resources, and you do them blindly, I'm cool with that. I don't care. I'm here to help.
Get what you need.
I know that I didn't know nothing, and somebody told me. I remember it was a white speech therapist with my son. One day, she just told me about the waiver, and from then on, I just took off running. And I've been trying to share as much information as I can when I meet people. That I just ask them the first little few things. If they don't got it, do this, do this, do this, and then they just it puts a spark in people. Like, oh, I didn't know they had all this for our kids, So those are my little shameless plugs.
All right. You got anything to plug? We go.
All I got is for the older.
Okay.
Yeah, we
go
need
ahead.
That. We
the
need
DVR
that.
program. Like for them to go to work and stuff like that. It's a lady named Teresa. She's the manager. She can be reached at 414-847-4200. Again, 414-847-4200. And it's the DVR program for them to go to work.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. Well, look, we need resources for people of all ages. So, autistic and Black in Milwaukee. If you or your loved one is autistic and Black in Milwaukee and you have resources to share, or you would like to receive resources, definitely drop them or stop by Pornisha's group and drop them. Feel free, if anybody has any resources, to share them on the Moment with Moesghetii podcast page.
Absolutely.
Because I'm all about. I have no problem. I would love to be a hub for you guys to have a space to get connected with each other, especially throughout the month. But really anytime, because this is where we build community. This is where how we start to plug in with one another and grow. And I just really appreciate you ladies for being here with me today. So we gonna wrap this whole. Go ahead. Go ahead, get your shout out. Thank you for everybody who had been watching with us today.
Thank you all for your support.
So
Andrea, I seen you earlier. I don't know if you're still in here, but I seen you, girl.
Yes, they all.
Oh, Jay too. Look at him.
Man, look.
My sister Eva. Come on.
We done had all type of people in.
Thank y'all for y'all support, for real.
So much.
This is my first time actually speaking.
Is it?
Yeah.
Look
on a platform such as. So, yeah.
I'm gonna tell you this. Y'all look. Because I don't want to cut you out, but you
don't be doing that now.
You
crying now.
Look, like you just said, God gave you this voice so you could speak for you and your son. Maybe God gave you that voice so you speak way more than that. It's way more than that.
I'm trying to tap into that.
It's way more than that. This is just a start. All right, so we gonna take it out in prayer. I'm gonna give my last couple of announcements, and then we gonna head on up out of here. All right. Dear Heavenly Father, I thank you for today. I thank you for the opportunity to have this conversation. I thank you for the community that we have built in this room and digitally. And I ask that you just be with us, be with our minds, be with our bodies, be with our spirits, be with our families, be with our children, as we all try to navigate this life, as we all try to love on the people in our lives who are on the spectrum, who aren't on the spectrum, who love us and who love our children. Heavenly Father, I ask that you take this message and you spread it to whoever needs it. I ask that those who need the resources that have been spoken about today, or that will be shared in our respective groups, that they find it and that they get whatever they need, so that you can shine your light in their lives and give them hope and give them peace and give them love and give them support. In the blessed name of Jesus, I do pray. Thank God. And amen. I thank you all for being here today. Go ahead.
AutismSpeaks.com. That's a great starting point as well.
AutismSpeaks.com. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I thank you for stopping by the Moment with Moesghetii podcast. I am your hostess with the mostesses, Moesghetii herself. If you want to give a little appreciation for the episode today, I always encourage people to drop by my cash app, cash tag Moesghetii, buy me a coffee, buy me a car, whatever's in your wallet or whatever's in your heart. I am
car. I know,
look.
that's right.
I don't want to limit people whatever they,
Business.
because I'll take $1. But I'll also take a whole lot more to that. And all of that goes
Look
into
at mama putting it in there.
Mom
You better
always
you
drops
better
the cash
drop
app.
that
And,
cash
and
tag.
the money that you send in my direction really just goes towards supporting, allowing the show to continue on, and other endeavors that I am and planning on, including the Moesghetie's Birthday Spectacular variety show is coming up, and I gotta pay for that too. So if you want to give any financial appreciation just for my time, you know, that's a collection plate. You gotta pass it before you leave the building. Feel free to do so. If not, you know, it is what it is. Just show your love by liking, by following, by sharing the podcast Facebook page, or just this episode. That is another way that you can support what I'm doing here in my mission to increase awareness and to help people with their mental health and their spiritual wellness. So I thank you all for being here today. I appreciate my guests for being here with me today, for being so open and
Thank you. Hopefully we can do it again.
Yeah, man, I love this. We had a good time today. So with that being said, thank you for spending a moment with me, and I'll see you guys next time. Go ahead, take me out, Tom.